Shout out to all the real ones out there. It's your boy Mike again, hitting you with another video. And this time we're gonna do it a little bit different. Normally I come with a topic and then I just go in on the topic. But what I realize is I'm a little bit of a writer, poet. You know, I made some songs back in my day, and every once in a while I go back to my skill of journaling, right? Like writing down in a journal whatever is going through my mind at that moment. So in a way, I'm about to give y'all, I'm basically about to give y'all some red pill poetry. I didn't write it with the mindset of being a damn poet. I just wrote it, and it's coming off like poetry because it's all thoughts that I had at that moment. It flowed straight, and this is the first time I'm really sharing it on a public platform. So I hope y'all can appreciate it. I wrote this back basically like in sometime in 2019, and it's called The Awakening, right? And I think this is basically how it pertains to the red pill. So I said, I'm coming to the realization that I am completely alone, and that is a bit saddening to say the least. Though not totally caught off guard by this truth, in my younger days I always envisioned meeting the right woman and losing that feeling. But after my relationship of 8 years, I can truly say that solitude and self-reflection has confirmed the fact that I am alone in this reality. I'm not lonely, but the ascension process has dissolved the ties that I once held so dear to people who were, at one time, very close to me. As if the universe has deemed it necessary for me to go through a cleansing process that will rid me of all the things that will hinder my growth. I stand now on my own two like never before and feel empowered. It is, however, emotionally neutralizing. To understand the way that our world works, to see through the deception of love and intimate relationships, to witness the truth behind family dynamics, to be cognizant of predictive programming and all of the social experiments that are carried out on the unsuspecting masses has put me into a dilemma. I am faced with multiple paths and must decide which one to travel on. 1. Stay in your current relationship, continue to sacrifice in order to bring children into this realm. 2. Break away from the confines of the relationship and simply move to another country and start fresh. 3. Break away from the relationship, remain single, and become a mentor to all of the people who could benefit from my presence back in the United States. At this point, I am somewhat indifferent to the idea of divorce, not because of the union being bad, but more so because I was never independent after I joined the military. Now, this is where it kind of comes in when you think about it with a lot of the stuff you hear in the red pill community about like being on your purpose and this and that. I'm a dude who was always on my purpose, and I had big plans to actually see all of my ideas come to life. Anyone who knows me from back in the day can say I was definitely very driven. I didn't even go to a university, but I still lived on my own. I always had a car, always had money, always had something going for myself, and I was like a big dreamer. I still am to this day. I'll always be a big dreamer because I feel like that's what gives me motivation to go forward. And if, on a side note, any of y'all know anything about numerology, I'm a number 9. So you can imagine the complexity, right? But yeah, I said that just to say I never really truly was on my purpose on my own. When I moved out to my first place, I had a roommate. One of my best friends stayed with me. When I joined the Army, I moved all around. And you know, the Army, I didn't have my own place. I was basically bouncing around, and my residence could change at a moment's notice. And then when I finally was out of the military, due to love, I wound up moving in with my wife, who I still live with. So this is very true what I'm saying here, and I just wanted to explain that. Now, where was I? There are so many goals that I have yet to achieve, and being in a relationship has hindered me from achieving certain things. Moreover, I do not like the depth of attraction that is inevitable in long-term dealings with a woman should one be in a committed relationship. Now, see, this goes back to my second video, if y'all remember, where I was talking about the pros and cons, or I think think it was my third video, where I was talking about the pros and cons of being in a long-term relationship. I'm hitting on it right here. From my experience, no man is above catching the continual waves of emotional drama that are bound to come his way when paired together with a woman. I look back at my single life as a guy, and my motivation came from an idealized muse of a woman which existed only in my mind. A beautiful woman that loved me for who I was versus the women who I saw in reality that wanted me for reasons outside of love. For example, status, my looks, my ambition, my car, the clothes I wore, etc. Fast forward to the present day, and there now lies an emptiness in my heart, a void that has, in a way, caused me to detach from the fundamental view of what a relationship really is. A cold reality for me to accept indeed, but the truth is that love is a transaction. An extraction of resources from the man in exchange for the promise of sex and fertility from the woman. Yet and still the power dynamic that appears to balance out these exchanges are heavily weighed into the favor of women, who, by way of the current laws and cultural narratives, can ultimately extract resources from the man long after the previous exchange of sex or fertility has occurred. Now, the benefit of the doubt with me is that, first of all, I'm not with an average Western feminist woman from the United States. Like, I got a woman who is from a traditional Muslim family, modern in their views, and they have a culture that is very intact, and most of the people that she knows are in the same committed long-term relationships since she's been a child. So that was a good choice for me to pick a woman that comes from that type of background, because it minimizes the risk that I will go through the same horrible divorces where you see on divorce court, or have a woman that'll just rape you for everything you worth. You know, like I got a woman that already had her own business, her own money, her own situation. So her incentive to try to get me for everything I'm worth and rob me blind should we not work out, I minimize that by the partner I chose. But nonetheless, it's still something that I can't just forget. Like, I have to be aware of that possibility, right? This knowledge of mandatory child support, alimony, and asset division rulings that take place in countless divorce courts every year give me a nauseous feeling of disgust. Combined with the fact that women by nature are opportunistic lovers, these truths make me realize that the juice is simply not worth the squeeze. And I know you guys have probably heard that 1,000 times in the MGTOW community, right? I've been with the same woman this entire time, but I'm still not immune to the nagging, shaming tactics, or emotional manipulation that other men experience. No matter how much I strive, no matter how much I improve, grow, learn, or apply, I too am subject to catch the same shit test that any other man would also catch. It's like a Cold War remains in effect throughout the duration of a marriage, with the end game appearing to be a weakening of a man's emotional resolve. Armor is only so strong after being struck by an endless barrage of attacks, and men are to become shells of their former selves after years of being subjected to the endless hits to their emotional steadiness that women tend to deliver during long-term relationships. The veil has been lifted, so nothing that comes my way will catch me off guard. Statistics highlight a grim outcome that I must consider, and those numbers reveal that nearly an 80% chance that my marriage will crumble. Those stats also show that 80% of those divorces are filed by the women, hence reinforcing the very statement that I made above about them being opportunistic lovers who may very well split once they have another suitor who they then can monkey branch to once the current union no longer serves their interests. I married my wife with the mentality that she was different from other women. But let's be honest. Didn't millions upon millions of other rational, logical men also embark on the similar journey with the same glimmer of hope in their eyes? Did they not also think that they could overcome female nature and succeed where other men failed? Can I truly put it past my wife not to follow the same protocol that nearly all women follow at some point in their lives? The beauty of having such a perspective is that I can see these things from an eagle-eye viewpoint and create a contingency plan to prepare myself. It truly is a blessing to have such clarity. Though bittersweet, I'm relieved to have taken the red pill. So that's something I actually wrote back in 2019. And as I was going through some of the ideas that I wanted to present for videos, I was like, you know what, that's a really good one, because it ties in what I was talking about before, about the pros and cons of relationships, and it also ties in with some of the stuff that I said about just because I'm in a long-term relationship doesn't mean that I'm just totally blocked off to everything that Migto has explained about female nature. Like, I'm doing my best to see if I can have my cake and eat it too. Is there a way for me to, let's say, apply Migto knowledge in my long-term relationship to get a better outcome overall than, let's say, going monk or dropping off and not having no relationship? Like, I feel like there's a way for me to have it all. There has to be a way for me to have a good relationship, be on my purpose, take red pills daily, you know, share my experiences with other dudes who either want to know about relationships, what they can avoid, or if they want to be bachelors or whatever. I feel like no matter what, there has to be some way for me to achieve all the things I want to have. But knowledge is power, you know, hence why I'm just trying to give y'all everything that I know. And even if it touches one dude that's in a similar situation and it helps him out and he has some clarity from what I explained in this video, I'm happy already, because that's one person touched. And back when I was growing up, people used to always ask me if I was a 5%er. Now, I don't know if y'all hip to that, but 5%ers are basically offshoots of the Nation of Islam, and they're considered the poor righteous teachers, right? Because you got basically 85% of the world that is entirely blind. You have 10% of the elite, powerful people who take advantage of the fact that the 85% are blind, and that leaves 5% left. People who are aware of the world and are trying to go around as poor righteous teachers to inform the 85% that 10% has an agenda against them. So it's basically, I'm trying to open motherfuckers' eyes, if it makes any sense in that way. And though I'm not a 5%er, a lot of the ideology that they have, a lot of the things that they value and preach amongst each other, I do resonate with, you know. So it's been quite a few people, you know what I mean? Cat's been asking me, you a traveling man? I'm like, come on, man, that's that Freemasonry shit. People think I might be a Freemason. Other cats thought I was in the Nation of Islam or I was a 5%er, you know. So the thing is, man, I'm just a cat that just wants to get a lot of knowledge out. People have told me I should write a book, as I said in my intro video or whatever, but I hope y'all got something out of that. That was just something I wrote back in the, last year. But I ain't gonna drag this video on too much longer. I just want to say, if y'all have any topic requests or anything that y'all would like me to cover, please do so in the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking about, and yeah, we'll make it happen, because I'm trying to establish like a little community, and this is like in the very beginning infancy stages. So y'all take care of yourselves, man. Look out, and yeah, I'm gonna get some more topics laid out, and I'll hit you as soon as I can with the next video. So take it easy until the next time. I'll see y'all.